Welcome back to the Overwatch League. One more match to go today. That's right, we've reached the last one. Unfortunately, more matches tomorrow, but for now, we've got Guangzhou Charge taking on the LA Gladiators. Should be a pretty interesting one. The Gladiators have looked very strong recently, and these two teams have already met before.
Yeah, they did meet in stage one, and it did end up with a Gladiators win. But that is actually also the last time Guangzhou won a map.
That is true.
So,
well, I mean, the thing is Guangzhou has had a tough time recently. We're going to get into that a little bit more, but like they have had just a series of brutally hard matches to start the stage. So I don't know if that map record necessarily reflects the team as much as it reflects how hard it's been for them lately in terms of just matchups.
Yeah, it has been ridiculously difficult, you have to say. Taking a look at Guangzhou here, but this is a team we thought would be better in this meta. They were running more DPS compositions than almost any team that wasn't Chengdu in stage one, and considering there are more options, at least for that now here in stage two, we thought it might be a little bit of an improvement, but they haven't shown it yet. Even though I think their only winnable one was really against the Paris Eternal, they couldn't take a map, but does it get more ridiculously hard than this? Gladiators, Titans, Eternal, Shock, Gladiators. I mean, that is a brutal gauntlet to run.
Absolutely.
And, that they didn't do better against the Eternal is really the only surprise in there. Maybe we could have said, hey, they could have taken a map here and there, but Shock Titans and Eternal, or Shock Titans and Gladiators, pretty much all the top teams in the league right now that aren't NYXL.
Meanwhile, the Gladiators could genuinely be another one of our teams that goes 7-0 this stage. I think the Hunters and the Uprising could definitely give them somewhat of a challenge. Valiant, maybe, now that they've got a win under their belt, but I think for the most part, I would not be surprised at all to see them go 7-0, 6-1 maybe.
And the Gladiators are a team that are looking to crack into the top of the elite teams that are going to be playing in the Overwatch League. And given their improvement and their integration over time of Decay, this might be a chance for them to be in the same conversation, at least, as the XL, as the Shock, and as the Titans.
Maybe. They're going to have to win another one today against Guangzhou Charge, I think, to kind of continue to prove that. But, you know, when you look at these two teams, to me anyway, the Charge almost remind me a little bit of Gladiators during the last stage, where when you look at the Gladiators team back in stage one, you're like, this is a team that they could just flip a switch and immediately become one of the best teams in the league. They flip that switch. They are becoming one of those teams. Now in stage two, Guangzhou is in kind of the same boat where they have all of that talent. We saw that on display in stage one, but for whatever reason, that switch have just not been switched yet. So we'll see if maybe today is the day, but they've got a tough opponent to overcome. Let's hear it for the LA Gladiators.
Gladiator, Gladiator.
In case you forget what team it is, their song will remind you over and over again. But this team is no joke, man. Like we were just talking about, they are really kind of gunning to be one of the top teams in the league right now.
And let's talk specifically about what the switch that got flipped for the Gladiators was, Doa. Because if we look at it, a lot of it was them getting picked off first in team fights. That was their major problem at the start of stage one, was one of their tanks, or Decay, just flying off and dying randomly. Whether it was Void, whether it was Roar or Decay. Now they've actually managed to keep it together, and Big Goose said they had to refine some of their comms within games, but this is a team that got dangerous because of that change.
Yep, that's right. And their opponents today, a team still looking for a win in stage one. It's been a rough road. Have they finally found what it takes to get the W today? Let's hear it for the Guangzhou Charge. And when you look at this roster as they walk out, you see a lot of names that make you go, hey, this is a good player in Overwatch, right? So the fact that they've had so many 0-4s lately is really puzzling.
And I think for the Guangzhou Charge, Doa, the switch that has yet to be flipped for them is the difference between their teamfight win percentage on average and what they can do in overtime. And that's really the massive goal. There is a bigger difference with the Guangzhou Charge in those two categories than any other team in this league. And it seems to me at points that they're almost overthinking things, or the communication is breaking down. Because when they go into that high pressure overtime, more instinctual way of playing Overwatch, when they don't have time to think about it, they perform so much better, weirdly. But I think that they just need to have more trust in each other and play back to their reflexes and their instincts, and that's going to be what pushes them ahead.
So at the end of the day, what you're just saying is they need to relax.
Yeah.
That's it. They just need to chill out, play some Overwatch, and not think it out too much.
And not second guess themselves.
Yeah.
I think that's where they really run into a lot of trouble. So you see these little weird outlier statistics like we saw with the Gladiators and we're seeing now with the Guangzhou Charge, and you realize, okay, they're actually, if this problem gets fixed like it did for the Gladiators, Charge can become a very dangerous team.
Yeah, they certainly could. Today might be the day. We're gonna find out, but again, Gladiators are a tough opponent. Let's see the maps for this series. Brought to you by Toyota. We're going to start things out with Lijiang Tower for our control map, then going to Temple of Anubis on Assault. Blizzard World will be our hybrid map, and finally Gibraltar on Escort, unless we need that fifth and final tiebreaker control map. I'm excited about this one, man. Gladiators is one of my favorite teams to watch right now, and Charge was honestly one of my favorite teams to watch last stage. So I think we might be in for a good one. And as our Vancouver Titans versus Houston Outlaws match taught us earlier, sometimes just fun to watch beatdown too.
I personally enjoy that. I love watching good teams play excellent Overwatch, so it's not really a problem for me. And Gladiators have been playing some pretty good Overwatch recently.
Absolutely. Virtual fish.
Trying to enter that conversation for one of the best teams in the league. And if they can clear out the rest of this stage 7-0, we could be in for some very exciting stage playoffs.
Go Charge starting out running Kib in the starting lineup today. Something we've seen a couple times, but not as often.
Both teams opting for Winston 3-3 here on this point. Happy falling early to decay, and that'll be a very quick capture here at first for the Gladiators.
I say happy, but that's the opposite emotion that the Charge are having right now. It's going to be easy first point take by the Gladiators, and they will get that control percent building. So Hotpa swaps over to the Diva now. Rio swaps a little bit, but ends up going to the Reinhardt. So we're going to go over to the Reinhardt 3-3 instead.
Yeah, and they're going to just play behind the point right here, eliminate the possibility of getting environmentally eliminated for the most part by going over some of those dangerous bridges. Harder to get environmentally eliminated in this covered bridge right here, and they're going to walk onto the point.
There's that little gap, though. You got to watch out. Yeah, you just saw a bunch of them get knocked back. It's a dangerous spot to be at, too. They're going to make it onto the point now. They just have to push their way through the Gladiators, though, to take it. Shu's got a really quick transcendence. Going to use it right away. Both teams actually popping that. Shaz has his as well. Hydration with a much faster rally, though, for the Gladiators. And they've got the grab as well, so the ult's coming in a lot quicker on the LA side of things, and they are going to be able to push the Charge back.
I don't think anybody actually ended up really in that grab, though. Doesn't matter. They actually eliminate Kib.
It was a zoning grab.
Before he picks up the rally, and now Charge have a good opportunity here. They can rally in with their own Graviton Surge and make a play against the Gladiators, who still don't quite have that sound barrier yet.
It's happy time. He's got his grab ready to go. Sound barrier used preemptively. There's the self-destruct. Happy throws it right at him pretty much, but they do catch a lot of members of LA in there. That's a lot of kills coming in for Charge. So after the engage with the self-destruct, the Gladiators kind of self-destruct themselves into the grab of Guangzhou, and that's going to be a point flip.
Yeah, absolutely. Good read by the Guangzhou Charge, right? They're only losing one, realizing that they had the ultimate economy to go ahead and retake there after Kib respawns. So now they're still in one fight territory, though. Los Angeles Gladiators will have a couple of economy pushes right now, but that's a lot of ults online as we're taking a look at the Guangzhou Charge presently. Gladiators don't have a lot, just a transcendence if they choose to use it.
It needs to be a long hold for the Charge here. Rio with the shatter, dropping it, gets blocked by the shield, so pretty easy. Doesn't matter. Hotpa's actually going out there and wrecking people by himself. But Big Goose with the knockoff onto Kib, but the reset comes in anyway. And Charge is going to get a bit more time on the point.
Yeah, good value for the Charge, though, because they repelled the attack immediately by using the Earth Shatter. And that's a pretty great value if you're just going to go ahead and pull one ult to hold on to the point. So Gladiators not getting much. They're going to try and come in over the bridge now.
Yeah, that's right. Getting aggressive now with Roar's Primal Rage. Charge a little bit scattered here. Roar trying to get the knockoff. Oh, that's a dangerous place for the Charge to be in. Nobody gets environmental kill though, but that was close. They're forced back to the bridge. Charge on the outside looking in as they try to prevent the Gladiators from flipping it. But there goes Roar. Another grab coming in. Happy's still got his. Gladiators though gonna clean up this fight. And the Charge have pretty much equalized in percentage. They've got a good amount of ultimates, too, to come back into this one.
Yeah, they do. Gladiators gonna hold on to this point for the time being. Roar now on the Reinhardt making his return. Remember, Graviton Surge still available for the charge.
That's right.
But the Transcendence on the side of the Gladiators may be enough to hold on to this one.
They seem to have the tools anyway. They put together, here we go, rally from Kib as they go in. Happy again looking for the grab. Rio with an early kill on the Hydration. Wow, they just caught him out. And it looks like they're gonna get Roar too. Shields up, but he doesn't have a lot of health left. Gonna be Kib trying to knock him down. They actually do manage to floor quite a few with the shatter from Rio. Trying to flip it back right now, but Gladiators still in it yet. We're into overtime now. 99% for LA. Happy still holding that grab. Does not want to get that one eaten. Guangzhou, a lot of ultimates to use. They actually flip the point back into their favor with the Sound Bearer. Now the grab comes in for the Gladiators. Self-destructs all over the place. No kills out of either one, but the charge does lose hot, but now they're caught in the grab from Gladiators. Charge falling back, and they are losing a few people here. Roar drops a shatter. Doesn't really seem to connect with anybody of note there, but they're getting the kills anyway. So Charge getting pushed away, and Gladiators gonna retake. Looks like this point might just go their way.
Yeah, went the distance though.
Wow.
Both teams competitive on this point. Hoppa gonna make it back just in time, but he won't last long.
Well, it was 99-99, but in the end, the Gladiators finishing the final fight, and it looks like after they clear off these respawns, that's going to be a point going in their favor. They're going to take the lead here on Lijiang Tower. Oh, maybe not. Wait for it.
A rogue Lucio appears on the point, and there you go, Gladiators.
Well, Charge tried to delay it as long as they could, but you can't fight the 1v6s very often. That's LA Gladiators taking lead in the series here.
Yeah, as expected, but Charge, they come out looking pretty decent. We did take a look at their schedule beforehand and how incredibly difficult it has been for them.
Sure has, but that happens sometimes. You just have to kind of buckle down and try to win games.
I mean, but if you're a Charge fan, at least you can wipe your brow a little bit. You're over the hump. You literally will never play the Titans again in a regular season stage.
Fair enough.
And you're not going to play the Shock again either. So...
Big Goose. This is what this guy does, man. It's a nice boop onto Chara.
And also, this is their last game against the Gladiators. So you've actually eliminated basically all of the most difficult opponents in the Pacific Division for the rest of the 2019 season.
Wow, that's a good point. Let's get it over with, right? Avoid a little bit low health. Rio, gotta try to keep him alive. Just a brawl. While they're waiting for the night market point to unlock in about 10 seconds. Roar down early, though. Good start for Charge. They've got hydration as well, so all of this pointing to Charge, getting the control percent early here.
Yep, they are going to duck in and pick up that early percentage. Kib with a quick rally, and this is a great opportunity when the Gladiators are on such a low ultimate economy. When you have that rally, that's one ability that you can just pop in, run in on, and win the ensuing team fight off of that one ultimate. So it puts you in a great position to snowball.
Yeah, they need to be aggressive to do it, though. Nice boot by Chara, actually, displacing a lot of the Gladiators. Hydration drops immediately. Oh, that was a great setup. They used the rally, but man, Chara really the MVP there.
But that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the first point. You're going to get 40% off of that snowball into the rally, and now you're going to get some other ults up as well. Gladiators have a couple online themselves, however, but they're going to need that Transcendence. Look at Decay, he's so much lower on that Graviton Surge charge than Happy.
I mean, that's what happens when you spend most of the round dead, He just hasn't had time to build it. Charge falling back to the point now. Gladiators not falling for the Chara trap twice in a row, but Happy has the grab now. Gladiators waiting until the time is right. You just gotta go sometimes.
They're waiting. They're
man,
just gonna D-back Void. Here we go.
That's about it, man. Big Goose Downer as well. They're gonna drop the grab just to seal the deal here. And that's all they're gonna need. Guangzhou Charge getting to be really efficient with these ultimates right now.
Absolutely. There's another fight. So they won one without any ultimates, obviously the first one. Won the next one with just a rally. Won the next one with just a Graviton Surge. Charge really tightening up their play today. And Gladiators, they're coming up on 6 ults, fortunately for them, but they're gonna need every single one to break through this Charge defense.
Charge taking the fight early on here. Decay still not with the grab. He's gonna get it in just a moment though. And will the Charge allow themselves to be caught by it? They're pretty grouped up right now. But Hoppa trying to be ready to eat that one.
Rally's down right now. Gladiators poking in, but they got to get there. We're in overtime.
Yeah, that's right. They got to touch the point. All right, they engage now. Charge splits up a little bit. Decay pops the grab in. Not eat. Can they finish off the charge? No, there's the self-destruct. Void doesn't get any kills with it. Transcendence used by the charge. They're going to roll back in now with the sound barrier. Hotba with that self-destruct. Roar's shield is gone. Decay and Big Goose down already. And Charge are going to equalize here on Night Market. We are going to the third round on Lijiang Tower.
Really nicely done by the charge. That's the kind of coordination and teamwork we wanted to see from them.
Yeah, that was tight.
Yeah, they brought it back to 99-99 at our first point. 100-0 here on Night Market.
Some smiles over there on the charge side of things as well too. And I mean, it's like you said, they've got to be thinking those same things that we're talking about, where, you know, really after this match, it does get easier strength of schedule wise for them. And if they can even get a win here, that's so much the better, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, because the way that the divisions work in Overwatch, you play, if you're in the Pacific Division, you will play each of your Pacific opponents twice and Atlantic Division opponents once.
Right.
And vice versa for the Atlantic Division. So,
Watch this one again.
yeah, Charge has already gotten through the worst part of their 2019. Let's put it that way.
It certainly seems that way. And things could be a lot worse than they are. They're not bad. Oh, right back into the action here on Control Center, where Charge will try to win this one. Gladiators obviously trying to do the same thing. Decay getting a lot of charge on that Zarya early on. That's a lot of damage here. Always fun to talk about Zarya charge while Charge is in the game as a team.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Zarya energy, let's call it. There
Yeah,
you
it
go.
works. Alt charge, alt energy, charge. Wow, they just take the point first. Gladiator just muscled off for a little bit. Happy kind of low though. They keep him alive. He's doing a lot of damage right now. It's going to be an early rally for both teams here as they try to stay in it. Long, protracted fight on the point right now.
Yeah, Guangzhou Charge is
Happy.
they're struggling with this one, though. They're getting more chipped out than the Gladiators are.
Oh, and they're getting completely destroyed now. Rio out of the way. Sound barrier for the Gladiators. They're really putting a ton into this fight. Everything getting used. Happy even using the grab there. Oh, I don't know if I like that for the Charges. They had already lost their Reinhardt. They're still gaining percent though, so the longer they can delay, the better. But looks like it will be Gladiators eventually flipping the point, but giving over about 40% in the process or so.
I mean, they're still dealing with this Lucio on the point right now. So, you know, honestly, it was a pretty equal trade. The difference is Guangzhou actually got value out of the trade because of the control percent that they were able to accrue during the fight.
Yeah, why not? Decay quite a bit ahead in the grab charge for now, though. But Guangzhou is going to be a lot quicker to those two support ultimates on Lucio and Zenyatta, so they've got potentially a pretty good push here.
Guangzhou Charge coming back around again. Trying to wrap all the way around the side. You see Rio looking for a chance to use that shatter.
Yep, walking in there, has to worry about the self-destruct for the moment. Gets stunned! He got stunned and he got hit by it. Shaz, though, falls victim to Hotba's self-destruct, so both teams losing people. But it will be the Charge falling back at the end.
Yeah, both teams having the same idea there, too. Trying to open up the point on the self-destruct. The value just a little bit more there for the Gladiators as they get the first pick off as well as a self-destruct kill. Treated for just one self-destruct kill on the side of the Charge. Guangzhou, though, coming back in. Still with those support ults, so they should be able to out-sustain the Gladiators on the point. Here we go.
Yeah, it'll be like Shaz's Transcendence, and that's about it for the Gladiators right now. There's a grab used by Gladiators, trying to take out a few members of the Charge early in the fight. Shatter comes down, hits Hydration, but the Transcendence there for Shaz. Keeping everybody up now. Roar responds, knocks out Happy with the sound barrier there for the Charge. Hydration, though, dropped by Rio. In the end, there goes Roar. Guangzhou looking pretty good at the start of this brawl here. Gonna get the point back.
Yeah, it took a lot, though. Happy needs to work his way up to another Graviton Surge. He's trying to pick up a few extra percent here with some spam through the doorway. Rio there just to help him out in case he needs it. Very close indeed. But Big Goose is going to be there with the answer in the sound barrier.
I mean, Happy's almost certainly gonna have the Graviton Surge for the next fight here. Gladiators, like you mentioned, with a couple tools to deal with it. Got the sound barrier, gonna have the rally as well. But they know they need to approach carefully. Maybe. Right, they're swinging into each other. And they're gonna push forward. Oh, Rio and Kim down early on. They just could not keep them alive. Gladiators so decisive with their target calling.
That's going to serve them well, too.
Yeah.
Their retake right here. Guangzhou going to have to hurry up to this point to make it there in time. Decay gets another Graviton online. Happy just no opportunity there.
I mean, you can't lose your tanks like that.
Yeah.
The Guangzhou Charge, you know they're going to run at you. You got to be ready for that.
Yeah, Charge too. They are reeling after that push from the Gladiators.
Yeah.
Going to be very hard for them to retake this point. We'll see what they can do.
A better support autonomy right now for the Gladiators. Grab gets used immediately. That's going to draw the Transcendence from Shoes. Helps to start coming in. 2 for Void. Looking pretty good for LA right now. Big Goose gets caught by Hotba's self-destruct, but they've got his sound barrier before he went down. So everything looking pretty good for the Gladiators here at the end of Lijiang Tower. Just cleaning up the respawns again. Few members of the Gladiators, or Charge left rather. Happy gets on there. Maybe if they can get some lucky kills, but Kib is down already. Rally again, getting used by hydration. Nobody from the Charge gets back there, and it will be Gladiators taking the first map.
Very nicely done. Gladiators hold strong, bounce back.
Yeah.
After that 100-0 on Night Market, hold their composure, and they put themselves up to an early lead in this series.
Exciting stuff though, Charge making it look competitive. We might have ourselves a pretty good series to look ahead to. Quick break, and when we come back, map number 2.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Огонь по готовности! Огонь по готовности! Nerf this! Огонь по готовности! Огонь по готовности!
Welcome to Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. A lot of times, trying to attack both point A and B on Hanamura can feel like beating your head against a brick wall if the opposing team is entrenched. So the Chengdu Hunters Elsa decided to use Symmetra's teleporter against the Paris Eternal on both points, allowing for an easy flank on both, leading to a full capture.
Shadow missing Elsa is charged up and ready to rumble. He's doing so much damage right now. And with the teleporter, he's using it just to reposition himself. Oh my god, this guy!
Big Goose getting the sound barrier off just in time, right before he died in that last fight, helping pave the way for the Gladiators to take the first map in that series. And unfortunately for the Guangzhou Charge, that is now their 20th map loss in a row. Not the type of record you want to have.
Which is not something that you would really believe watching this team play Overwatch.
No, it's honestly pretty astounding. And again, we sound like a broken record, but it does kind of call back to that strength of schedule these guys have had to play into over the last couple weeks. It's been rough, but we're going to Temple of Infamous now, and you know, Guangzhou Charge, as we said before this series began, the last map they won was actually against the Gladiators in Stage 1, so maybe it'll happen again. That's what I'm saying. Maybe. Trying to give hope.
Incoming in 30 seconds.
Charge right now is just the best, worst team in the league, you know?
Yeah, it's
That's
true.
what it comes down to. They're the team where, like, they really don't look that bad when you watch them, but they just play against people who are better than them.
Yeah.
How about that for analysis?
They have been very unlucky to play against a bunch of sequential teams that were better than them.
Yeah.
So Gladiators right now switching it up to the Winston 3-3. Same thing with Guangzhou Charge here on the defense. We'll see if Gladiators make any adjustments after they scout. Gonna take a peek in right there with the Winston.
I'm thinking about it.
And nope, they're gonna go with it. But this gives them an opportunity just to get easily through these choke points. Obviously much harder to defend this choke point on if you are not running the Reinhardt on defense.
Look at Rio's outcharge compared to Roar, too, getting a ton right now as he's getting all the members of Gladiators as they walk through.
Yeah, also stun looked like on Roar there, so another factor which is going to
That helps.
prevent them from getting a lot of Winston charge.
Shu on the Ana this time.
Okay, there's an interesting play here. Look at Roar on the left side of your screen. They're going to pincer.
Yep, gonna try to get in onto one of the flex supports maybe. Yeah, chasing down Shu now. He's loading him
blocked-
out with the shield.
Yeah, he blocked off the healing, but that doesn't matter. Shu he'll just strafe around and throw that biotic grenade in there all the same.
Pretty much. I like the idea, you know, block the Ana healing with the shield, but
Yep.
it's just not big enough to block it effectively in that point.
I wonder if this is where we're going to see some transitions coming in, or whether Roar really is married to this high amount of charge he has on the Primal Rage.
Married to Primal Rage. Yikes.
That is a dangerous situation.
Sounds like a rough situation, yeah.
All right. Gladiators waiting for speed boost right now. Going to jump in. Cooldowns are up.
Yeah, Rio again. He's got his Primal Rage all ready to go. Nice grenade on the Gladiators, too. That's going to slow them down while they have to do a little bit of healing after it wears off. They're on the high ground now. They have the ability to jump down on the charge, with the charge looking a little bit better in the ult category right now.
Just running at him, not even contesting the point, just going in.
Now they want to win the fight, man. Rio dives down onto Shaz. Still Primal Rage available. They've got the rally out for the charge right now. Here comes Rio. One tick taken already for the Gladiators, but here's the grab. Sound barrier wearing away. They're going to have to use Shaz's Transcendence. Self-destruct comes in from Hot Bum and no kills on that one. Just voids mech, and the ensuing grab from the Gladiators claiming a lot of victims here. Rio trying to equalize, but it's looking good for LA.
I mean, when you lose the Brigitte and the Lucio like that, you're just not going to beat the sustain of the Gladiators. You still have the Brigitte alive on the point. That said, Guangzhou Charge did successfully force out a bunch of ults from the Gladiators, so there's not going to be a massive snowball heading into point B. So all in all, pretty successful defense for Guangzhou.
Gladiators will swap up the main tank from Winston to Reinhardt here as they move in as well. Again, because you don't have a lot of momentum, you don't need to push fast. Swap to the Rhine, start building that Earth Shatter charge. Put some healing on Shaz. Come on, there we go. As Zenyatta, that freaks me out, you know? Stresses me out a little bit. I want the Zen to live. Gladiators pushing into the point now. Rio's still holding on to that Primal Rage. They separate Roar from his team, but aren't able to quite capitalize. Zarya's shield is ready. Rio just like, hey man, I'll just sit here and build up charge all day, but now Happy's gone. Rio Primal Rages after that.
Got stunned as well.
That's
Now
right.
he's low.
Stunned, knocked off the point. All his health removed pretty much. Rough spot for the charge right now to be in. Chara down. The Transcendence from Shu as he kind of bounds onto the point.
Grab.
Not going to get them a whole lot. Graviton Surge again, like you mentioned, used by Decay, but Charge just utterly falling apart in that defense.
It was nice while it lasted, but the ticks are coming fast here for the Gladiators. There's not going to be anybody there to contest it.
Man, that fell apart fast for the Guangzhou Charge.
Much better play by the Gladiators there on B.
Yeah.
Really good focus fire. Managed to eliminate Rio from the equation. He's not able to stall considering how badly he got chunked out on the Primal. Then they just solo grab him when he comes back, say, all right, your HP pool isn't here to contest this. We are happy with that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what the Charge can do when they get a turn to attack in just a moment.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Огонь по готовности!
It's a rough time for the Guangzhou Charge as they got a bit rolled on defense. Start off, Temple of Anubis are going on the attack now. But as we look at this team too, we think about players like Shu that had a great stage one. There he is on your screen right now. And you know, we're kind of, I feel like as a unit, a lot of people are kind of just reserving their judgment on this team until they kind of get out the other side of this gauntlet.
Yeah, the brutal punishment.
If they still look like this next week against the opponents they've got then I'm going to be like, all right, well, maybe Charge just isn't a great team anymore. But right now, you know, they're just looking like me in my rank games. You know, I'm really good, but I just happen to play against people that are slightly better than me all the time.
I see that.
I should be advanced easily, you know, but
the solo queue mentality
just
right
bad
there.
luck, man. Strength of schedule on my ladder games, what can I say?
That's a nice sleep dart against Void.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bubble there, though, not going to do much in the end, but they are going to be running a lot of DPS, and look at this, they're just running out.
I mean, Hoppa gets Shaz. That's actually going to be a problem for the Gladiators as the respawns are a lot quicker for the Charge, but they've lost
that D-Mech is actually maybe the real problem.
Yeah, that too.
So they go well out past the gate because they realize that they're going to get zoned out if they don't. Effectively, they're just going to be controlled by the long-range sightlines here on A. They're going to get pushed out by the Far Rockets and the Widowmaker into either side of the point. They don't want to deal with that, so they take a risk. They are going to get Shaz back here. Hotbug gets a nice rocket onto Void, who is still out of his mech.
Well, that was really big because he was pretty close to getting his mech back at that point.
His mech back.
His mech back. Mech back. You know that play by Shakespeare, right? Not supposed to mention that.
That sleep dart.
Oh, Shu. Hotba down as well, so.
Oh, wow. Shaz hit a nice sleep dart on a Happy on top of the archway there. So he wasn't able to contribute any damage while the tanks, the Gladiators, jumped out. And, you know, we don't normally see Winston 3-3 teams contesting like this on this point, but I really like what they're doing. They are just playing so aggressively.
I think the Gladiators are just filled with confidence right now, and they're just trying to get in Guangzhou's head. Rio trying to draw the Gladiators back, but they're not going to be brought back. They're just like, all right, well, enjoy a little bit of time on the point. That's fine. We'll fight the 6v5. And Void back there again. And here we go, Gladiators. Over in the side room, maybe Hotba has an opportunity with the barrage as he turns around the corner here. Oh, sleep dart misses. He heard it go off, though. He knows there's no sleep dart at the moment. One tick taken by the Charge so far. Void gets D-Mech.
A hack onto Roar right now as well, so he is just a giant target for that Pharah.
Yeah, well, Pharah's a giant target when she ults as well, but the good news for Charge is that the res comes in and they've taken out most of the Gladiators here.
Nano boost right now onto the Zarya. Zarya still trying to get back into the point. Graviton used. Sound Barrier helping keep Decay alive, and Decay is just melting anyone on the Charge who goes onto the point.
Somehow, some way, finding a method to get back into the defense here.
I mean, not many teams would commit like that. Got a couple players left. Nano boost. They drew out the EMP as well. Yeah, that's going to be a very important ultimate now down for the Guangzhou Charge. Big Goose, as soon as he sees that EMP, he's like, okay, we've got to charge Zarya here. We're just going to use it.
Yep. Makes sense. Happy over on the Widowmaker now, his signature hero, trying to just get something done, but even though there's a minute remaining, I feel like it's already a bit of desperation mode for the Guangzhou Charge.
Yeah, you can see that they've switched to the Reinhardt as well because they know that they can't intercept them anymore because of how close the Charge got to the point. So better to have that barrier and be able to play just on either side of the point and step on to prevent the contest there from the Charge.
Self-destruct, trying to zone out Charge again. It does put Chara in a position where the Gladiators can finish him off. He had to run from the self-destruct and had to go around the corner from the rest of his team.
Oh, no.
Ooh, lucky break there, man. That's a shot a lot of Widowmakers would have hit.
You're going back down, Happy.
Yes, he is.
There will be no escaping to the other side of the void, says Big Goose.
You have only grappled death.
Here we go, Noah. 20 seconds until a full hold by the Gladiators.
It's really looking that way as the Charge are on their last legs here. A few ultimates coming online. Happy is actually swapped over to the Hanzo now. for a last-ditch effort barrage of arrows. Shaz nearly has that nano boost though. And the Gladiators, if they can just hold it together for just a bit longer, they're gonna take a strong 2-0 lead in the series. Minefield used by Rio. Charge trying to get a little bit more. Oh, Shaz! He's down to use the nano boost.
It's looking really good for the Charge right now. Just a couple more to clean up. Hotba coming in.
There we go. And it was Happy just taking names on that Hanzo. Saw it on the kill feed to set up Hotba for that barrage. And now they're going to make some quick swaps before they go after B. Yeah, that was really the last-ditch effort from the Charge coming through finally in the end. And you got to give a lot of credit to Happy on that Hanzo.
Yeah, look at that interesting swap coming in as well. Guangzhou Charge. Yeah, this Hanzo, absolutely the right call. If you can make plays like that one, and you're in desperate straits in overtime.
Oh, brutal.
The execution.
No. It's easy to shoot the goose when it's on the ground.
The goose was not loose.
Oh, no. This is anything but loose. They're trying to go for the hack onto Roar. Rio and Guangzhou Charge charging in onto point B here at Gladiators, caught a little bit unawares. The ultimate's not up for the Charge, but they don't need him. They're just going on pure aggression right now. Can they get the cleanup though? It would be crazy for them to take B at this point.
Graviton was used by Decay to solo grab Chara, and he didn't get the elimination thanks to the Ana healing.
Super fast coalescence for Shaz, pushing a Charge back. A lot of low health members there. There's a Shatter coming in, but Roar gets Happy with the Fire Strike right before he gets knocked down. Goose does throw out the sound barrier, and Gladiators starting to stabilize here on B. A close call. 76% of the point taken by the Charge, but they do get sent back to spawn.
Yeah, still really good ultimate economy though for the Charge on this reset.
Oh, yeah.
You'll notice what they did was they put Happy, who normally plays the Zarya, onto the Brigitte because Kib had the EMP. They got a lot of value out of that EMP, 2 ticks, and Hotbuzz going to be the one on the Zarya right now. This is where Guangzhou has an excellent opportunity to clean this up though. There's no Zenyatta, there's no support ultimate that is going to save them.
Yeah.
Void has to have just a massive eat here or a counter self-destruct. Maybe counter self-destruct Shatter can save them.
If you can win the fight, you're gonna have a decent time bank yet. And it was on Rio. He gets a shield up in time to block the self-destruct. Roar down, as is Hydration. Gladiators not able to keep their tanks up, and this is exactly what the Charge needed to try to at least get a good amount of time in the time bank here. Not gonna be able to equalize the Gladiators, but they can finish it now. They do. Nearly 2 minutes remaining. It's not bad.
That was well played by the Charge. Gladiators, that was going to be such a hard defense with the ults the way they were.
Oh, yeah.
And Charge able to just push through, get that final tick.
That's right. We are going to extra innings now. Gladiators with a lot more time in the time bank, but Charge has a chance. Guangzhou Charge coming to life at the end of that last attack, taking A and then taking B in fairly short order. 1:51 for them in the time bank. Obviously, that pales in comparison to the 4:25 the Gladiators have, but I'm just saying, they got a chance.
They do have a chance.
Charge has a chance.
I mean, we've seen good moments already in this match from the Charge. It's just weird that they can oscillate so quickly between almost getting full held and then having like a very good understanding of how to close out point B with their ultimate economy advantage.
Yeah, best worst team in the league right now.
I mean, it was a good swap, right? To just keep Kib with the EMP on that Sombra, but switch Happy and Hotba over to roles that they haven't played a ton of on this round.
They're not wasting any time with those swaps this time around. Happy starting out with the Hanzo, but the pressure early from the Gladiators. Once they've taken though, there's a back cap going on.
Yeah,
the
they
Charge.
gotta go. And this, they're gonna leave this Brigitte behind too, which is really problematic for them.
Yeah, the Gladiators getting all strung out as they try to go back towards the point. Some of those supports not able to quite keep up as easily.
How did that Brigitte live? How did Hydration actually make it back right there?
I don't know.
I thought I saw him at like 1 HP. Maybe they called that he was somebody else was going to kill him, but that could have been finished, I think, by Hotba.
Super-powered shield bash, perhaps. Meanwhile, Gladiators trying to get a little bit of purchase on the point here.
Yeah, they're trying, but it's going to be difficult. I see Rio
Yeah.
coming back right now with the Wrecking Ball, trying to put that pressure on once again.
Hotba has a barrage ready to go. Oh, but Decay finishes him off. A lot of pressure coming in from Void as well on that one. And Happy, you do not want to be there, buddy. Uppercut from Roar to end his life. Now, Charge, one more attack is all they've really got, but they've got ultimates to use.
Yeah, stagger pretty bad too.
Ooh,
They
they
did,
got Kib.
but here's the trade they made was they gave Kib about 10% more ult charge to get a longer stagger. So we're gonna see if that was actually worth it.
I don't know, man. I mean, Sombra gets back to the point really quickly. I mean, look at that. Kib already there. Shu waiting for a chance to put that nano boost perhaps onto Hotba. He's got to touch the point. Nobody touched the point. That happened. That just happened. Look at Charge's ultimates right now. They had a great chance to try to take that, and nobody touched the point.
I mean, it is hard to touch the point when you are running the Wrecking Ball. If he got booped off the point, then no one else would have been attempting to because they're running all these DPS and supports, right? So you're not going to survive.
Yes.
But yeah, it's rough. What else are you going to say? It's rough.
Ooh. We get another look at that one to see exactly how that went down, but that is definitely not the result that the Charge were looking for. Now they have to full hold for 425 because the Gladiators only need one tick at this point, or a little over one tick rather.
Yeah, let's take a look at what happens right here. I mean, I think so he touches it. He should I think they thought they were in the window because it was right at 5 seconds. So what happened was, he stepped off of it right before 5 seconds, maybe 0.1 seconds.
Yeah.
So they thought it was going to trigger overtime, but they were just very slightly off.
Yeah,
That's actually a forgivable mistake from the Charge. That looked like it should have been able to trigger the overtime, and you could completely understand why they thought it would.
Well, playing with fire. Charge, they got burned there. Now a lot of time for the Gladiators to take just 57.1%.
Yep, still a chance for Guangzhou to win this map, though.
Sure, yeah. If they do defend, they will win because they did at least get a little bit over one tick. Pressure onto Decay as he gets pushed back here a little bit. Shaz down early, though, so good start for the Gladiators.
Yeah, they're just going to run in right now while they're all grouped up into this room. Decay has a lot of charge, so they got to be careful. He's at 100.
Yeah.
You have to be cautious about how you approach this. And besides, Guangzhou can just keep them there, and then they're going to be able to have a chance to make a play onto Shaz. Shaz has switched to the Moira because he knows he's just never going to get there as a Zenyatta through that choke point and over to the rest of his team. But if he has Fade, maybe he can.
Yeah, if you're separated from your team like that, you're never going to make it as Zen. Just floating in there.
Time to raise my APM.
Goes in now. Diva's raising her APM. That's good news. Oh, Rio down, though. Damage came in, and now the Gladiators getting to fight that 5v6. Decay even taking a nap. In the meantime, that's so much healing coming out of Moira, too. Her heal did get a little bit of a buff, too, in the patch for this one. Chara down, and the Gladiators just hemorrhaging players, or Charge rather, just hemorrhaging players right now. One tick taken already. There's a grab from the Gladiators. Happy's grab gets eaten by Void even. And that should be about it. LA Gladiators will go up 2-0 in this series.
Gladiators, pretty dominant win there. Charge made it a match by pushing through quickly on B, but they can't get A fast enough again, and Gladiators already up 2-0.
Couple crucial mistakes cost them halftime when we come back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Огонь по готовности! Огонь по готовности!
Everybody, Malik here with Brandon Sideshow. Wow, it's like we went to a void just now. That was awesome. All right, guys, so the game so far a little closer than expected. The Gladiators, however, are up 2-0. Decay's been popping off. What were you guys' big takeaways from the first half?
Understanding the Gladiators are going to be the favorites in this matchup here between
sure.
the two teams.
Yes.
It's been hard to get a grasp on where Guangzhou are really standing right now because, again, they've just been playing against such difficult teams.
They've been slammed.
Exactly, yeah. So it hasn't been too pretty, but it has been an even game, honestly, between these two teams. There's been moments where Guangzhou could have turned it.
Yeah.
I think there was a moment in the first map that we're going to see they could have turned this one around just a bit more clever ult usage.
I think overall, the first map, even on balance, maybe should have gone towards Guangzhou. Despite the fact that Gladiators stomped the first round at the beginning, they charged, came back into it, they played a fairly good triple tank, triple support. It looked like Rio was getting well supported, they were using their ults relatively well, and it went the full 3 rounds, and in the final round, okay, it ends up with the charge not being in a position to really capitalize and take advantage. You know, just messed up their ults a little bit, but overall, I think this comes back to the point that we kept making on these watch point shows before and after the matches, which was that the Charge are not a bad team.
Right.
This is not the worst team in the league, despite the fact they've only won 1 out of their last 22 maps. I mean, that's brutal, but that makes it seem a lot worse than they actually are. But they've just been playing good teams, and unfortunately, even when they play really close games, like that first one on Lijiang, if you don't come away with a win, it doesn't go on the board, and there you go.
And that's an aspect that we need to consider as well, is the mental state of this team. You know, they are the youngest team in the league on average. These guys are coming off the back of all these wins. That is going to affect you, and until you get out of that slump, I mean, if they won that first map, who knows where they could have gone? Like, that could inspire confidence in them.
Well, they got a little bit of momentum in Anubis. They actually were able to cap the points, you know, and they were able to, they send things into time bank phase. I think that's a step forward.
It is,
in a sense, because, I mean, these guys have lost, what, 21 straight maps?
Yes.
What do you guys think?
And well, having said that, I mean, the last map that the Guangzhou Charge actually won, I think, was against the Gladiators as well.
Right.
So that's another little interesting tidbit for you. But overall here, I think the Gladiators put a stonker of a time down on offense and then nearly full held the charge.
Put a what? A what?
A stonker.
I've never heard anyone use that word
No,
before.
it's a fantastic British word. Use it at home, and everyone will look at you very strange.
I'm going to take that one.
Okay, fantastic time. There you go. Look, they still had over 4 minutes left on the clock by the time they capped. And then Charge almost got full held here, but then managed to clutch it out at the end. So there are still some issues with
that was so
Charge, and they just don't look as tight as these teams like the Gladiators, and obviously the top 3. I mean, look at this. It's in overtime, and they require a 3 or 4K by Happy, I can't even remember what, and then an insane barrage by Hotbird to be able to look at the movement here. I mean, that is beautiful. Getting behind the shield.
The one thing I've seen from the Charge is they actually rely on their individual players and their mechanical abilities quite a bit. You know?
Telling Hotbird to calm down, flinging his mouse everywhere.
Yeah, I know, right?
But Guangzhou are a team where they've got all of these talented players a lot of the time, and sometimes they do have to rely on that to get those wins. Like you just saw there with Happy trying to clutch up for them to even cap the point in the first place. So this is a reoccurring problem, it seems, for Guangzhou. And you know, as I said earlier, it's tough for them. You know, they're in this slump, they're in this mental state of mind right now where they can't quite break through, and it's a difficult scenario because, you know, Gladiators are not a bad team. We're having discussions about this being potentially a top 4 team right now.
Yeah, that's pretty difficult to tell, right? Because Dallas came out and just looked really good, but we'd never seen them play before, so they might be able to contest for that spot. There's a couple of other teams up there, but we're thinking Gladiators are kind of sat on top of the pack that isn't the top 3 kind of gods of the Overwatch League right now.
Either way, it seems like that they have their strength of schedule has been nuts so far, the Charge.
Yes.
All right, so moving on, we all know that the Charge have lost 21 straight maps, and the next map is Blizzard World. What do the Charge need to do in order to get back into this game?
Do you want to try?
Somber Goats.
Okay, I wasn't even going to suggest something particular to do with the strategy. I think it comes down to making decisions faster than the LA Gladiators do. I think this team looks best when they're making quick decisions and playing a little more aggressively. And something that I tend to notice over the course of the Charge games is that when they get in their own heads, they start to play a bit more passive, a bit safer, and end up just kind of backing off. And
literally saw that on Lijiang.
Yeah.
Like, case point, Lijiang was they had an opportunity to win it, but they just kept playing passive and passive and passive.
Yeah, so I want to see them invigorated excited after the half.
Yeah.
I wanted them to come out with the confidence that they actually can take this, and remember that there were some moments there that were close in those beginning games. And if they come back in with that kind of confidence and play like they're confident, they could still take this.
Can they get by on this like isolation gameplay where they have one player who just makes like a big play and then that's it?
Not in this meta. No, you need a bit more than that. I think New York have proven that, Shock have proven that, Titans have proven that. If you want to be classified as a top team, you can't rely on that individual skill like you could in the past. So yeah, I mean Guangzhou, we know they got the talent there. We know that they are. I consider them a good team. You have disagreements on that?
I think they're like a mid-table team, maybe slightly underneath, but they're still reasonable and better than their map record would show.
All right, well, the Gladiators are currently up 2-0. Can the Charge back into this match? We're going to find out in just a bit. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss it.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
LA Gladiators with a 2-0 lead coming out of the half. And Guangzhou Charge, we saw the halftime crew kind of speculate a little bit about what they can do, but it's looking pretty tough across the board on the Charge side, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's just a consequence of facing these top-tier teams. What do you say? Gladiators looked really good right there. I love the way Decay played on Anubis, and I love the way his team played around him as well. I think especially on some of those point A defenses, when the rest of his team was dead, you can really tell the Gladiators have an idea of what they need to do to win, because they're willing to commit resources like Sound Barrier, like Nano Boosts onto Decay in situations where they're down a couple of players on the point, and just trust him that he's going to be able to have the power to really carry them through. And guess what? He did.
That's right. And guess what? You also have a chance to watch him again in the match of a week tomorrow at 5:15 Pacific time. The battle for LA Valiant versus LA Gladiators. Obviously, the Gladiators a big favorite going to that one.
Yeah.
But if you remember back to these matches last year, they seem to always manage to play it close no matter what the teams or where the teams are at in that particular stage. So I hope we still get a good series tomorrow anyway.
I hope we do too, Doa, but I think it's probably just going to be the slaughter of the week instead.
We've had a couple.
We have had a lot of
slaughter. It's been a slaughter-filled week, hasn't it?
It has. It's been a massacre here at the Overwatch League. And
Korn would be pleased. Many skulls for the Skull Throne this week, that's for sure.
It may continue right now, unfortunately, for the Guangzhou Charge. Gladiators now on match point here.
And we go to Blizzard World. Gladiators on the attack to start things off, and they're going to go, perhaps, they're going to change things off, or they take a look at it. I would imagine Shaz is not going to stay on the Bastion. Maybe, there we go, okay. All right, some swaps over to the Reinhardt 3-3 now against Guangzhou's Reinhardt 3-3, and why not, right? You don't have to try to break a hardpoint comp or anything like that, so just do what's been working.
They're going to switch it up. They should have confidence, I think, in the mirror based on the matches that we've seen so far. Slow approach here. Roar going to move in with the bubble. The bubble's down now.
Yep.
The side of the Gladiators. They start to get Decay up there in terms of energy.
Yeah, they've been so good at getting Decay supercharged up and running in with a ton of damage. Kib taking a lot there, and Happy down already. How in the world did they find a kill onto Happy that quick? I mean, honestly, it has been, for the majority of the fights in this series, Happy and Rio going down first.
Yep. Has been. I mean, the pressure on that front line has been absolutely huge, and that's one of the adjustments I think the Gladiators have been making, too. They really like to play the tank wars as a team and just sort of walk at you and put maximum pressure on your front line.
So let's watch that one again.
Ooh.
Yep, it's a nice fire strike, as a lot of the members of the Guangzhou Charge were very low health. Speaking of low health, Roar loses all of his, so the Charge will be able to hold a little bit here.
Yeah, they overcommitted to a D-mech there.
Yeah.
Hotba was low, and they decided now was the time to pursue. Doesn't make that much of a difference, though, considering that the cart was still coming out, and they have those close respawns, so not a lot of distance lost on the payload.
Pretty much. I think Guangzhou Charge needs somebody to jump in that siege tank in the background.
That'd be handy right now.
That might help a little bit. Shara, ooh, really low. Close call there. They used a couple ultimates. Rally, Shatter went down as well from Rio. And Decay, so charged up. He's just going to burn through that shield from Reinhardt so fast. Grab used. They actually caught a couple of them. Caught Happy, caught Chara, and Happy. The kill on Happy is really the important one there. Is, again, you know, like we've said so many times, that's where most of your damage is in 3-3.
Absolutely is. Happy going to be coming back. The Graviton of his own, though. Has been saving up his Transcendence for this very moment. That's just a great decision, right? Because you get two players on the retreat, you get a lot of payload movement, they don't get to use their trance in an efficient manner. Decision-making from this Gladiators team just gets better and better.
Wow. Very optimistic shatter used by Roar there. They do force Charge off of the high ground. Now Chara, no protection for the Lucio, and once again, Decay finds another victim.
Hey, basically perfect tracking there.
Oh, yeah. He's so good, it's insane. Jazz pops a Transcendence. A lot's also coming out from the Charge right now. Self-destruct doesn't find anybody, but the other members of the team do.
Rio setting up a good play there by initiating with the Charge, and now you do see a regroup here from the Gladiators, pushed almost all the way to point B, though, so they're one fight from getting that objective.
What is in that coffee cup? It's a galaxy.
Is that what's in there?
I don't want to drink a galaxy. That's like countless worlds, trillions of lives imbibed.
I mean, you're assuming there is life in that galaxy.
Well, I mean, probably. Decay pushes forward. Got the grab. I'm not saying it's aliens, but aliens. That Gladiator's wasting no time. And running right into the Charge again. They do wait on the sound barrier, though, before they push forward again. Give with the rally. Gladiators buying their time. There it is. The grab comes in now. And easy set of kills come out for the Gladiators. And that was so well executed. They were so patient, waiting out the support ultimates from the Charge and then hitting him with the grab. There wasn't a whole lot they could do about it. Shu died right before he got his Transcendence, too.
Yeah, unlucky timing there. Gladiators now just going to push forward a little bit, see if they can catch anybody right here. Trying to get some eliminations. They are going to get one, so they do get the split spawn kill for some extra payload progress.
Pretty great. You know, I think when people die in this part of the map, they should, like, drop items.
Random items?
Yeah, chance to get
there you go.
Artifact legendary items, you know? Items with sockets.
As we've seen attempted many times recently, random item drops, great for esports.
I see what you did there. Topical. Topical and true. We need a giant sword in Overwatch. Actually, we have a giant hammer, so there you go. Roar charging in. Self-destruct. Oh, grabs two. But Void self-destruct. Charge again, just caught off guard by that. And, you know, it just seems like any semblance of coordination is kind of falling apart, this defense here on the third point.
I think it must be very hard to stay in these games mentally as the Guangzhou Charge with this
no
kind
doubt.
of loss streak.
Yeah.
Definitely gets in your head.
I couldn't imagine it not. One more fight for the Gladiators to win to try to end this one. Charge does have some ultimates to use. Happy's grab might be a difference maker, and they do have the Transcendence from Shu to try to survive a little bit longer through the assault from LA. Roar just waiting for that perfect moment, waiting for the shatter. Oh, they've got Rio really low. Oh, let's call there. A lot of ultimates for Charge now.
You can see that trying to get around to the flank right now. Does get one stun on the Shu.
And Shu down, but they couldn't follow it up because of the grab. Up to self-destruct, doesn't claim anybody, but they do push the Gladiators back. Sound barrier, though, sustaining, and Kim drops first. Void a little bit low here. Shaz is there's a nice shatter from Roar. Void gets Shu with the self-destruct, and the Gladiators, throughout all of that, again, pretty much playing a perfect team fight, and they're going to finish around.
Very respectable time as well. Graviton had to be used defensively for the Guangzhou Charge, and that didn't give them much options for winning that fight.
So a good round yet again for the LA Gladiators. Guangzhou Charge tries their luck when we come back.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Time to raise my ATM.
Огонь по готовности. Огонь по готовности. Огонь по готовности. Огонь по готовности.
Ah, Galaxy Coffee. Drink the universe.
Well, Gladiators owning the universe right now. Guangzhou Charge, only 5 eliminations on that defense compared to 20 for the Gladiators. They were never able to eliminate Void or Big Goose on that defense.
I'm trying to think of what other Protoss-related coffee might actually be better. I don't know.
Protoss don't even have mouths, so how are they drinking that coffee?
That is a great question. That's the real question right there, man. How do they imbibe anything? Maybe they just absorb it. Maybe they just hold it up and it kind of just gets it's like a sponge, you know?
Maybe they have a mouth somewhere else.
One can only
speculate as you will.
Only guess. Yep. I mean, they gotta have mouths. They talk, right? Where's that voice coming from?
You can speculate as you will, though.
Anyway, that's right.
Guangzhou Charge here, coming in with the Reinhardt 3-3 against the Winston 3-3, but they're still having trouble getting over to that point. Roar respectably close to a Primal Rage right now.
Yeah, Shaz, grenade loaded up. And one biotic grenade from Shaz could certainly turn the tables on the Charge here. For it. Does not want to get eaten by Hotba. Ooh, goes for the sleep dart on Hotba. Doesn't work out. That grenade did actually get eaten. Big Goose staying alive. You can see the plan from some of these Anas, though. You try to go for the sleep dart on the D.Va, and then you get a good free grenade into the team, the enemy team. Roar, Primal Rage, trying to push the charge away. Buying a little bit of time anyway, but the charge is going to come back into it with a good amount of ultimates. They did get their support ultimates quicker. Oh, but the grab coming in quicker for the Gladiators, and at the end of the day, that's what's going to make the difference. In fact, Chara and Shu dropping before they had a chance to use their support ultimates. Perhaps a call coming into the reset. Goodbye, Kib. Can't swim in all that armor. And the charge will be trying to luck again. That was a long push, though, for not really any progress on the point.
I mean, they did get a lot of healing done in the poke war for the Guangzhou charge, so at least you can take a look right now and say, okay, a couple of support ultimates, all three, in fact, are online for them. There's not going to be a Graviton Surge here, so Guangzhou can sort of just rally and run in and out-sustain on the point, potentially.
They do have a really good chance here.
Yeah, they have a very good chance.
Yeah. Starting out with the rally, Gladiators will respond in kind.
Yeah, they have to give him a tick while it sort of fades away.
Yeah. Roar with the Primal Rage, though. He could start to split people up, and they could divide and conquer on this Guangzhou team. Rio drops the Shatter, drops Roar with the Fire Strike afterwards, and now, despite the sound barrier from LA, it's looking pretty good for the charge.
That's right. Decay here is having to throw himself in. It was going to be really hard, but again, Guangzhou, you know, they have these moments.
They do.
They only use the rally and the shatter. Like, this is a good use of their ult economy by really paying attention and holding on to the sound barrier and the transcendence, understanding that they weren't going to need them.
Yeah. Well, pushing forward. Do not need additional pylons because that one is huge. I think that's supposed to be like actual real size of a real pylon though, in the real world of StarCraft. Guangzhou charge have put themselves in a good position to get a lot of distance on this payload here. Decay with another grab already though.
Yeah, still, Guangzhou has plenty of survivability through a Graviton Surge. Gladiators have to find some creative ways to win these next couple of fights while they recover in ult economy.
Not been a problem the past with Chara. Decay has just had Chara's number all night. You really have to be careful going anywhere near him. There's the grabs coming out. For the charge, self-destruct coming in. Wow, Void got two. He got Hoppa and Happy with that self-destruct. Roar following up with the kill onto Rio. And, you know, sometimes that's the creativity you need and just getting a couple good self-destruct kills.
Yeah, and sometimes you can be too conservative too, not using the sound barrier. A charge figuring that it would be better just to hold on to it for this next engagement, but they're gonna have to deal with Gladiators here, trying to play this choke point very close.
I want to go back and watch because it has been Void getting a lot of good self-destruct kills just kind of on his own. Oh, charged in a lot of trouble now, taking so much damage. Gladiators just running all over them, and Charge just, you know, saves the ultimates. Don't decide to use anything.
Yeah, it's a great value with the rally there from the Gladiators. Probably Charge didn't expect them to be playing that far forward. Probably should have.
Hi.
Roar here. He's bumpering.
My hammer is bigger than this hammer.
He's bumpering. Are they going to realize he's not there? Yes, they do.
Run, Roar. Back up like your life depends on, oh, you're dead. I'll charge.
I mean, that was all the Gladiators really had to use right there.
They had to go for something.
They had to go for something. And I think the logic is, if you get it, you get a nice delay right there. If you don't get it, you're going to get so close to 3 other ultimates on the next fight, and you have that respawn advantage, that it's not really a big deal. Because if it works, then you're basically running out the rest of the clock with just an ult and then a nice ulted bank on the next fight.
You still have the shatter, so.
Yeah, and you still have time for 2 fights left, as long as you contest the payload.
High ground getting contested for the moment here. They do get the shield bash onto Rio, who jumps down to reconnect with the rest of his team. Happy with the grab now. Gladiators has built up quite a few ultimates. He goes for it! Tries to go for the stylish jab, but nothing doing. Gets kept alive by the sound barrier, though, luckily for him. Guangzhou charge, though, can respond with some aggression of their own. Decay stunned by the shatter, doesn't get to use the grab. Roar knocked down as he charges into Rio. At the same time, there's the grab now for Charge. Void responding with the self-destruct. A few kills dropping here. Void dies before he can get back into his mech. Guangzhou charge, though.
Yeah, right now, Gladiators just need to be patient, but Happy is going to take out Decay, and that means Charge are going to get this point.
Yeah, they should. But I think the Gladiators are pretty pleased with the amount of time they've been able to run off the time bank, despite Charge taking it. But, this last point on Blizzard World isn't as difficult as some of the points he's on some of the other escort maps sometimes.
They're trying to pick up the split spawns right now.
Yeah.
But they're not going to, and instead they do feed Decay some Zarya energy as a result of just trying to pop through those bubbles. So they can't quite get there. Gladiators did manage to punish the split spawn. Charge not so lucky.
Gladiators getting aggressive now. Ooh, hydration. Went for the shield bash. Got really low though. Gotta be careful. We go rally now. As the Gladiators move in. Nice shatter by Rio. Hotba down already though. He gets a charge on the hydration, but Guangzhou lost somebody. Big Goose with the double boop. That's what Big Goose does, man. He finds those angles, and I gotta say, Guangzhou Charge making it a little bit easy for him there. Lining up right by the cliff. Let's watch that one again. Big Goose perspective. Gets around him on the wall.
Ooh, during the ult too.
Got the 3 there, actually.
That's just fantastic.
Yeah.
But really dangerous position for the Guangzhou Charge to be in. You'd have to think right there.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're in ulting Zenyatta.
When you walk to the right, and that part of the point right there, there's not much between you and Oblivion, as we saw.
Yeah, problem is because the tanks were already over there. It's like if he already cast trance, if he doesn't do that, then they lose anyway. So.
Sure, yeah. Whoa, Boyd with the 3K self-destruct. Sound barrier dropped by Big Goose, but they didn't even need it there, man. That was another great grab for Void, and now we're under 10 seconds. Hotba trying to delay as long as he can, but that self-destruct gonna get blocked here, and I don't know if anyone can get back to the point. Shaz Shu tries to get there with the Transcendence, but that's the end of the attack run. It's the end of the map.
Yep, that's it, and that's the end of the match with the Gladiators.
One more map to go,
3-0. Yeah, we do have the map to go, but big win here for Los Angeles.
Yeah, Gladiators just kind of making it look easy here. We'll see if the Charge can at least take a map when we come back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Огонь по готовности.
Big Goose. The goose is loose. That's right, getting the boops at the end of that last map. The LA Gladiators already getting the win 3-0 despite one more map to be played. But a good day for a lot of these players here.
I mean, yeah, it's great to see Big Goose this season. We always knew he's a great Lucio player, but we didn't get to see much of it in 2018 because of the predominance of the Mercy meta throughout the season.
Right.
And so, you know, he was a serviceable Mercy, but he really is a very good Lucio, and it's fun to see him be able to play it so much more this season.
Yeah. Such a fun hero to watch, and a fun player to watch on that fun hero. So we're going to Gibraltar for our final map, our escort map of this series. It's going to be Gladiators on the attack yet again. And we'll see what Charge have in mind. Looks like it could be more fairly standard stuff for the defense. The Winston 3-3, Kib swapping to that Brigitte.
Yeah, Kib been in for the whole match so far, too. We haven't seen any substitutions, so Guangzhou, this might be part of their way to stabilize the team a little bit in the short term, right? Sometimes it's necessary, I think, especially in Overwatch, to take a step back and just like lock your roster for a little bit so that you can facilitate good communication and teamwork before you start swapping everybody in and out every which way.
True. Here we go. Gladiators seeing if they can get a 4-0, and as we said many times, that map differential does come in handy, and any 4-0 you can take, you really should.
I mean, this is dangerous, I think, too, for the Charge, because this would be their 24th consecutive map loss, which is putting them in danger of all-time map loss streak.
Yeah.
Like, if this map goes over to the Gladiators, come the Charge's next game, we're going to have some conversations about whether or not they're going to, unfortunately, break that record.
Well, that's the thing. Aggression now coming in for the Gladiators. Knocking Charge off the high ground, trying to displace him, but the Charge not moving quite yet. Good amount of damage on Decay there, but it's going to be a rotation over to Server for the Gladiators. As the payload still waiting in the car wash, hydration down, but they do take Rio with them. And without that main tank, the Gladiators can just hop right back on the payload and keep pushing.
That's not the trade you want to make, obviously. Especially the Zarya's already charged up there. If you try and go into the tank, any of your lower HP characters going to have a rough time. Do have Rio back now, though, and that prompts the Gladiators.
Yep.
Fall back for the time being while they collect the rest of their team.
Shaz just doing a good job of laying down that damage from back lines. Taking some healing, taking some pressure now from Rio. Gets a little bit low, roared down, so the Charge not done yet. Hot the low health as well, but again, the main tank down for Gladiators now, and the Charge has a chance. They're using some ultimates, though, to do it. Primal Rage was used, Rally as well.
Gladiators really committing to this.
No kidding, despite being down their Winston, they're throwing everything they've got at it, but I don't think this is going to work out. Not this fight.
Yeah, Decay focused down inside the Graviton Surge in spite of that Transcendence being there, cut off from the healing, looks like, and now the Gladiators have to go all the way back to spawn. 2 minutes remaining.
The Gladiators still with a good amount of ultimates to use, but Charge was able to win that fight, without having to give up much themselves, too. And they do have the Transcendence, where Shaz decided to use his at the end.
Yeah, and even if you combo with the self-destruct, there's still the sound barrier there, too. So Guangzhou has absolutely everything they need to survive through this.
That they do. How long can they hold on? There's a grab. They can actually just trap Kib in that one. Sound barrier used. It couldn't save Kib, though. Rio down to the self-destruct. Void catches him. That is tragic for the Charge.
Decay has made a lot of really good decisions about grabs in this series.
Sure.
Those solo grabs are impactful when you can use the Winston bubble to cut off line of sight, to cut off healing coming in, and you just get that immediate advantage. So the positional punishing from Decay has been awesome so far tonight.
Oh, yeah. Knowing when to solo grab is so important. Kib down again. And Rio with another Primal Rage that he ends up just kind of using to back off with.
Yeah, that's definitely a great stall mechanic. Primal Rage so strong at the end of point B. If you have those faster respawns just to make sure you can survive long enough for your team to get back, that's not going to be on the table now.
Yep, here we go. Rally used by Gladiators to get aggressive. Happy gets dove on. They're going to collapse and finish him off pretty easily. Rio in a lot of trouble. He's not going to make it out. And it is just a shambles of a defense for Charge at this point.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Come in with Rally, maybe. Going to be super hard to contest the payload with just a Rally. Rio now moves over to the Reinhardt. Are they even going to come in on this?
I think if you're
just going to knock him away.
Yep. Just going to hold him at the door, and they're going to have to rotate down to the lower area.
God,
he's right there, too.
Roars everywhere, clogging your choke points.
He is indeed. They didn't get any kills, though, so Charge do get a little bit of purchase on the payload.
Yeah, they had to rally, though, and use trance just to get through the doors.
Yeah, that's rough. All right, now the Gladiators re-engage, now that the support ultimates are starting to wear away.
They have trance still, too.
Oh, they're going to have the grab again as well.
Yes, they are.
Yep. There it is. Grab thrown in.
Why not?
The Diva wasn't there. Yeah, why not indeed? Shoot, Kim, everybody down. And I think if I'm charged, I'm considering getting on that rocket ship myself and flying off the map. Time to make an escape, I think.
Go hang out with the Protoss.
That's right, yeah.
Figure out where their mouths are.
I don't know about that. Give your life for ire, perhaps. That's right. Build some pylons. They always seem to need more. Well, it's rough. Guangzhou charge. Gladiators just kind of cruising through this map so far.
Does seem quite casual for the Gladiators coming in right now. Roar once again with a Primal Rage.
Yep, has another one. Ooh, Boyd doesn't get anything that time. Roar knocked down by the Earth Shatter. Rio, though, taken out anyway. Decay right there to follow up. Protect this main tank by eliminating the threats.
I mean, this just has a whiff of desperation about it at this point for the charge.
Yeah, pretty much. Well. Shu comes in with the Transcendence. Just kind of runs across. It's a Zenyatta version of streaking, I suppose. Big Goose. Drops the sound barrier, and that should be about that. Yep, Gladiators finishing it off here on the attack on Gibraltar. And what can you say? It's not over yet, but it's looking over, isn't it?
Yep. I mean, again, charge already with another loss here. So I imagine their spirits are not at an all-time high.
Yeah.
And Gladiators still fighting for every map they can.
You know, and like we talked about, the real question is going to be next week for the Guangzhou Charge. You know, we've been able to kind of give them the excuse of, hey, it's been a really hard set of matches, and it has. That's objectively true. But, you know, if they still end up looking like this next week, then you have to ask those serious questions about the trajectory of this team.
Yeah, I think you do. I think that we sort of already have to ask some questions when it comes to that Paris Eternal match, where you would have thought they would have at least been able to take a map. That didn't happen. Could be an aberration, though.
Well, they seemed really unprepared for Paris, you know?
Well,
they seemed really surprised by a lot of the DPS looks Paris threw at them.
Yeah. To be fair, they did have to play Paris first with their new players, and there's not a lot of ways they could have prepared for that. You know, Paris came out with some unusual looks like Shadowburn on the Brigida that you would not have, I think nobody would have expected. So there is some wiggle room there, you have to say, for the charge. The research that they could have done would not have been accurate based on what Paris was playing in that match.
I mean, I think the biggest issue overall is that they just haven't won any maps. Like, losing all these matches against these good teams is okay, but they haven't won a map. And that's where it does get really worrying.
Right, but as Sideshow said at halftime, like, if you just looked at the scoreline, it wouldn't have showed, for example, that Lijiang Tower was really close.
True enough.
So.
That was true. The first map was close today between Charge and Gladiators. Quick little symmetric teleporter to get them over to the high ground on the bridge.
Yep, just gonna swap off back to Zenyatta, wait for Shu to rejoin his teammates, push through, try and take off some of this high ground. Yep, pretty much. Gotta be careful with your tanks right there.
And that's why. That is why. Happy is down right off the bat. Couldn't keep him alive in that hallway. And Gladiators just taking them right to the spawn doors. Punch and paint at the same time. My fist put logos on the wall. It's amazing.
Regaining the high ground now are the Gladiators. Guangzhou look for another opportunity here. Happy just very low on ultimate charge right now.
Oh yeah.
Zarya, that is not a good sign.
I mean, Decay builds Graviton Surges really quickly anyway, and if you're the opposing Zarya, you die early, you're way behind. As you can see, Decay, another kill onto Happy. It is just brutal at this point.
Yeah, it absolutely is. If you look at Decay on this map, he's averaging 1 minute 38 seconds per ultimate. Meanwhile, Happy at 1 minute 59. So 21-second differential in average ult timer. That is pretty vast.
Yeah, and that's not even taking into account really the charge that Decay usually has on the Zarya, rather, the energy built up with which to do much damage. He's really good at landing those right clicks too. Gets so much extra ult meter just by doing that. He's hanging on the payload now. Here we go, rally from LA. as they get ready to repel the charge, but the charge just decide to wait it out. That said, it's grab now for Decay. Rally now for the charge as they come in, giving the team that extra armor. There's the sound barrier for the Gladiators. They run in. They can't save hydration, though. It's a 6v5 in favor of charge this time. They've got a chance to push the payload. Gladiators backing away. Who are they? Maybe they're going in on this one anyway. Void with that self-destruct. Oh, it gets Chara. Shaz down during the process of the fight. Decay caught by Hotpa's self-destruct, so a chance here.
Yep.
For the charge to take point A.
Definitely a chance. That's going to cause a retreat, but you know what? Oh, Big Goose not going to spawn by the time this payload hits. However, Decay does. So 5 players here still in the shuttle phase for the Gladiators. They will be able to most likely not get staggered here. We'll see.
It's a little bit rough, man. They don't have a ton of healing to bring those tanks back up.
And do just barely avoid it. Now they can retake the high ground. So that's a good sign for the Gladiators, though.
Yeah.
No punishment.
All right, here we go. Chance for the Transcendence Gladiators coming in now. They're going to use the Transcendence to engage. That's a bold move, as Happy does have the grab, but look at all the pressure on the Shu.
I mean, Gladiators is doing a fantastic job of just isolating targets
Yeah.
in this series. So they'll go ahead and use ultimates in unorthodox ways. Now, normally you wouldn't use the trance there, but by using the trance, you prevent them from using the grab while your teammate is running through that doorway
Yeah.
to try and take out one of those supports.
Well, you're also like thoroughly in their heads at that point too, and when you make moves like that, you just make them fear everything.
Yeah.
Every time they
It's
see
confusing.
you, they're like, yeah, I don't know if these guys are going to come at me or not, you know, and it really does kind of break up whatever sort of coordination you had going. That said, charge back on the payload again, trying to push it. 2:30 left in the time bank, so a good amount of time to finish off point B. Here we go, rally. Again from the Gladiators to get aggressive. They put the charge down that little hallway, but they lose Shaz. Charge with the 6v5 now. They've got the Gladiators kind of pinned down in there. Primal Rage, oh, Roar gets a kill to Chara actually. Gets 2, finishes off Shu as well. And Decay roasting people. What in the world? I've never seen a fight down in the spawn room like that before. That was nuts.
Rarely do people choose to fight in the spawn room barracks, but
I mean, Charge like allowed themselves to be pushed back in there, and then they're like, I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me.
well, Charge coming back in at least with a nice big ult bank.
Sure.
After taking the loss inside the spawn room. They're going to try and solo grab Roar, and it is going to work.
They do get that. They also get the self-destruct on a Void as well. Hop having to use his, presumably to re-mech.
Ooh, that ended up as not so good of a series of ultimates for the Gladiators.
Yeah, but then Rio dies to Big Goose, and now the sound barrier comes in from Gladiators. They just don't have a lot of people left to defend with, though. That was a interesting sound barrier, we'll say. Decay is down as well. Nobody there to save Roar as well. He's going to back off.
Yeah, a few sloppy decisions in those last 2 fights by both teams. Decay going to give up all of that Zarya energy. And he will be returning quite quickly with another Graviton Surge. Only a minute remaining now. These Gladiators prepare themselves for another shot at this B defense.
Yep, one last chance here to defend at B. Primal Rage is going to be the ultimate. They're going to have a grab soon, too. There we go. Primal Rage going to dive right into the back lines here of Guangzhou Charge, scattering a few members of them. But Charge falls back pretty well. They don't let anybody get isolated. So they don't let Roar get too much besides time out of that one. But when you're under 30 seconds, time is pretty much all that counts. He's going to jump right back there again anyway. Oh, wow. They nearly got Kib there, too. Decay's grab actually gets eaten by Hotba, so that's something.
Grab going to be coming online for Happy.
That's right. They're going to have a chance here. Happy drops the grab, gets a good amount of Gladiators caught up in it. There's a self-destruct. Big Goose kills Happy, but more people dropping on the Gladiator side.
Question is, can they live? Decay is now back. Void has a self-destruct, so a way to reback. He's buying time.
Oh, he
and
got
he gets
Shu
Shu as well.
A chance with the sound barrier now for the Gladiators to come back and actually win this fight. Hotba down, and Roar has yet another Primal Rage, juggling Kib to death. And despite being a bit short-handed, when that fight began, it looks like they're going to turn it around and actually end the map, end the series right here. As soon as overtime expires, Chara, sound barriers himself, That's all there is to it, a 4-0 for the LA Gladiators over the Guangzhou Charge.
And the Gladiators just keep on rolling, recovering from a tough start to stage 1. Now they have their sights set on those stage 2 playoffs and entering the conversation of our elite teams here in the Overwatch League.
I think that's definitely a conversation that can be had in the coming weeks here. They are looking so strong across the board. Big plays from pretty much every member of that team today.
Yeah, Void not even dying there on Gibraltar, either attack or defense.
Wow.
Putting up some good numbers today, having quite a few good self-destructs as well.
Yeah, Decay just putting on a clinic as far as Zarya play goes too.
Really like Gladiators' decision-making. They seem very sharp in the match.
Well, they seem to know how to press their advantages too.
Yes.
You know, they know how to play the psychological game as well, and like you were talking about earlier, use ults in some of those short-handed situations to try to catch your opponent off guard when they're reeling already. Well, Danny, standing by with Roar to chat about that match. Let's see what he's got to say.
Thank you guys very much. What is up, everybody? I am here with Roar from LA Gladiators. Everyone make some noise. Great job today. 4-0 clean win for you guys. Now, both LA Gladiators and the Guangzhou Charge are an international team, but LA Gladiators seems to have more success. What do you think the reason is? 글래디와 또 이제 광저우 팀 둘 다 좀 다국적 팀이긴 하지만 또 글래디가 조금 더 기세가 좀 더 좋은 것 같아요. 그에 대한 이유 뭐라고 생각하시나요?
저희 코치진들과 한국인 코치진 분들이 저희 한국인과 영어권 선수들이 되게 소통을 잘할 수 있게 도움을 많이 준 것 같아요.
I feel like I would have to say the answer is the coaches. Coaches really meld all of our players, whether they're Korean or English or American players. So they're the bridge that kind of allows us to better perform on stage. And also talking about, sort of coaches and communication, Biggo's your teammate mentioned in Watchpoint that he was learning Korean. Do you feel like that has helped Gladiators at all? 좀 빅구스 선수가 한국말을 배우고 있다고 배우는 중이라고 하셨는데 좀 그게 글래디 팀에게 좀 도움이 된다고 생각을 하시나요?
아직 대화하는 건 미숙하지만 되게 그렇게 한국어를 읽으려고 하고 배우려고 하는 게 팀 분위기에 되게 도움이 되는 것 같아요.
Although his Korean's not at that level of communication, but he is really trying hard, so it kind of makes us feel good and brings up the vibe for the LA Gladiators. One last question for you. I know you're learning English as well. 영어 지금 배우시고 계시죠? Simple question. Your English versus Big Goose Korean. Who's better? 3, 2, 1.
Me.
There you have it. Back to you guys, casters.
Thank you, Danny. And don't feel bad, Big Goose. Korean's a very difficult language, as Monty and I know, so keep up with it, man. You'll do fine. But wow, what a great series between Gladiators and Guangzhou, for the Gladiators anyway. Sorry, Guangzhou. But we'll see. Again, Gladiators obviously looking like a great team. Guangzhou now through that gauntlet. They've played a ton of really good teams. Now they should have some quote-unquote easier matches coming out, so we'll see how they do. Yeah. Let's talk about our player of the match in the meantime. By Omen, by HP, it is going to be none other than Decay.
I really love the way Decay played today. I think.
Oh, really? You're rhyming master.
I'm rhyming, and Decay was just amazing. Like, you look at a lot of the decision making, whether it was him or his teammates making these calls, but a lot of these, like you see there, maybe not getting the biggest amount of targets in a Graviton Surge, but identifying when someone was out of position and then punishing them for it. It got the Gladiators a lot of free objective time, basically as a result, because they didn't have to commit as heavily, or they set the charge back to resetting as opposed to fighting on the point. So 43 Graviton Surge kills casually. Pretty nice stuff compared to 15 deaths.
Interestingly enough, same final blows as grab kills. That's something. Well, great day matches here on the Overwatch League, but we are not done yet. The Watchpoint post shows coming up to break down those matches, to entertain us, to thrill us, to make us laugh, perhaps cry, but mostly help us enjoy the great game that is Overwatch. Thanks for watching, guys. Stick around. Post show come up after this. See you then.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, man, what's up?
You need anything for today?
Nah, man, I think I'm set.
Big day today, man?
Yeah, huge. Let's play some Overwatch.